Under the pale light at the gate of the wooden house, James lowers his head to apologize to his father, after being threatened with disownment for insisting on driving Tu Diep to her checkup, despite rumors that she's pregnant by someone else. Though he's in pain, he remains determined to shield her from harsh judgments. In this 48th episode, the surprising results of Diep's examination will be revealed, shedding light on the mystery of her pregnancy. As James wrestles with a broken heart wrought by doubt, yet seeks to reaffirm his faith in love, the question remains: can they overcome these trials and mend the cracks caused by both family and the village? Under the faint early morning light, Tong wakes up in his small house on the outskirts of Tan. Weak spring sunlight seeps through the old wooden window, stained by time, casting patches of yellowish light on the worn tiles, marks left by many seasons of rain and sun. Slivers of light find their way through the gaps, highlighting a thin layer of dust on the simple furnishings. Rising from bed, Tong's old flip-flops slap against the floor as he heads into the living room. The space is quiet except for the spring breeze rustling across the old tiled roof, softly stirring a faded green curtain. He settles into a chipped wooden chair in the center of the room. The peeling paint reveals rough rings of wood beneath. Taking a sip of lukewarm water left in a dented aluminium kettle overnight, steam blurs momentarily before his gaunt face, and worry flickers in his mind. How is Diep doing now? Yesterday she mentioned being pregnant, but she sounded so shaky. Should I take her to the doctor? He drinks another mouthful, the warmth soothing his early morning chill, eyes drifting to the window where sparrows hop along a bare branch, their tiny wings fluttering with a carefree spirit he lacks at this moment. His thoughts swirl, and a hint of conflict appears in his gaze as he wonders. James cares for her deeply, but if the rumors are true, if she's really pregnant by someone else, how devastated would he be? I have to help them. Di can't handle this alone. He sets the cup down with a light clink in the stillness, rests his chin on his hand and wrestles with himself. But if I step in, will James misunderstand? He's already upset over his father. I don't want to make things worse. Still, Diep needs someone. She's too fragile. After a moment of indecision, he stands, determination shining through his worries. Moving to a corner of the house, he wheels out his dusty old wave motorbike. The engine splutters to life, sending grey exhaust into the cold air. He slips on a battered helmet, telling himself, I need to go to Diep's. She shouldn't face this fear alone. James is busy. I'll help. Steering onto the bumpy red dirt road, dusk billows in his wake, spring wind tousling his hair as he heads for Tu Diep's house, a glimmer of hope in his heart. As long as she's okay, everything will be fine. Meanwhile, in the small garden behind Tu Diep's wooden house in Tan Minh, James and she sit on an old bamboo bench beneath an aging bang tree. Early light filters through its sparse leaves, catching dewdrops that still cling to them. A soft glow falls on James's worried face and Diep's red, puffy eyes, illuminating the thin lines of her features and the concern in his gaze. They sip from two chipped ceramic cups on a small, unsteady bamboo table, the cracks in the cups reflecting the hardships she has faced. The silence is broken only by the sound of the spring breeze passing through, carrying a chilly draft through her thin, patchworked coat. James keeps his head bowed, hands tightly clasped on his lap, his voice low and remorseful as he speaks between the rustling leaves. Diep, if my dad said anything hurtful to you yesterday, I'm sorry. He misunderstood because of the rumors, and I hate that you feel so upset. I know how hard this is on you. Diep looks at him with a mix of empathy and fear. She sets her cup down, speaking softly, her voice barely above a whisper. It's okay, really. If I were in his position, I'd be worried too. He's just looking out for you. I don't blame him. I'm just sad that people don't trust me. James nods, relief flickering across his face. His gaze warms as he thinks, she understands my father. She's so kind. He says, voice steady with resolve, I honestly don't know how to make my dad see that you and I are sincere, but I believe in you. I know you wouldn't lie to me. We'll prove it to him. Don't be scared. Di forces a slight smile, her chapped lips curling faintly. She feels a bit more at ease hearing his trust, yet tangled in worry about what might happen if the doctor confirms a pregnancy. She bows her head, fists clinging to her coat, her thoughts in turmoil. I want to believe in him, but I'm scared. James stands, determination lighting his eyes in the still air. Get ready. I'm taking you to the clinic. We need answers. I don't want you feeling like this any longer. They head inside, pale light from the front door illuminating the red earthen floor. She pulls on a thin jacket hanging by a wooden peg, her hands trembling slightly. caught between hope and anxiety. I hope I'm not really pregnant, then he won't be disappointed and all this can end. James watches her, telling himself, no matter the result, I'm staying by your side, Diep. They travel the rough red dirt road to Tan Minh in James's black Ford Raptor. The tires bounce over potholes, sending clouds of dust swirling behind them. Soft morning light streams through the windshield, highlighting James's determined yet worried face and Diep's tear-stained eyes. Her hands clasp tightly in her lap as dust sparkles on her patchworked jacket. Spring air flows through the slightly open window, chilling the cabin. Glancing at her, James silently reassures himself. Hang in there. Once we get to the clinic, we'll know for sure. Suddenly, they spot Tong approaching on his sputtering old wave motorbike, dust kicking up around him. He brakes to a stop on the shoulder, hair disheveled from the wind as he lifts his battered helmet. With surprise in his eyes, he calls out, James? Di? You're both up and about early? James rolls the window down, letting red dust swirl inside. He nods, voice low and a bit rushed. Hey, Tong, how you doing? Tong returns the greeting, concern evident as he looks at Diep. Morning, James. Diep? Where are you two headed so early? I was just on my way to see Diep. James replies, voice firm with purpose. I'm taking Diep to the clinic in town. Thanks for worrying about her. Tong nods, a trace of anxiety in his gaze. Yeah, I was worried. Yesterday she told me she might be pregnant, and I thought about bringing her in for a checkup. But it's good you're on it. Puts my mind at ease. Di looks at Tong with gratitude and offers a small, shaky smile. Sorry for changing plans on you. Thank you for caring about me. James nods, warmth in his voice. Thanks, Tong. You can relax now. I'll take care of her. We'd better go. Talk later. As the Ford Raptor rumbles away, leaving a trail of red dust, Tong stands watching in the cold spring breeze. At least James is taking care of her. That's a relief, though Diep has been through so much. I really hope she's okay. After putting on his helmet, he follows the truck with his eyes until it disappears around a bend, thinking, James is a good man. Diep is fortunate to have him. Inside the truck, James steels himself. Tong cares too, but I have to be the one who's there for her. Baik gazes out the window, feeling an odd sense of peace. Both James and Tong worry about me. I need to stay strong. At the small clinic in Tan Minh, dim light filters through a dusty window, illuminating the battered white floor tiles. James leads Diep inside, his hand lightly on hers. His heart thuds anxiously as they walk along the narrow hallway. He waits outside the examination room, leaning against the wall, eyes locked on the old wooden door. Quietly, he prays, please let her not be pregnant. I trust her. Inside, Diep lies on an exam bed under a bright overhead lamp that catches her pallid features. The middle-aged doctor in a faded white coat checks her and speaks in a calm, measured voice. I've examined you. You are not pregnant. These symptoms are due to a circulatory issue in your brain, causing dizziness and nausea. A course of medication should fix it. Nothing serious. Diep exhales in relief, the weight on her heart suddenly lifted. Thank you, doctor. I'm so relieved. James steps in, eyes brimming with hope. She's not pregnant, right? The doctor nods with a faint smile. That's correct. She just needs some medicine. James's doubts dissolve, like clouds clearing from the sky. Taking her hand, he feels warmth flood over him. I knew it. She didn't betray me. We can face all of this together. They head to a small pharmacy in town, where a weak ceiling light flickers across dusty display cases. Rows of medicine glimmer behind the glass. James smiles, voice gentle. Once we pick up your medication, I'll take you somewhere to relax. Don't worry anymore. It's all fine now. Diep nods, relief shining in her eyes. Thank you. You're so good to me. Driving the Ford Raptor into a nearby forest, they park beneath tall trees swaying in the soft light. James improvises a little shelter with bamboo sticks and banana leaves. Sweating from the effort to start a fire by hand, he laughs sheepishly. Guess I'm not so great at this. I'll just use a lighter. They cook sausages and fresh veggies over the makeshift fire, enjoying the fragrant aroma and easy conversation. James says quietly, try not to worry about my father. The truth is out now, and I'm just so glad you're okay. Diep nods, a gentle smile crossing her face. I'm happy too. Thank you for sticking with me. They return home at night, moonlight glinting off the truck, both feeling a comforting warmth. Back at the small wooden house in Tan Minh, the moonlight peeks through gaps in the old window, illuminating the red earthen floor, still flecked with dust from the day. Tu Diep walks in, rubber sandals squelching with traces of mud, and sets her things on the chipped wooden table. She starts tidying up, sweeping the floor and wiping the table with a worn cloth. The faint glow from an oil lamp on the wall flickers across her slender silhouette. Stepping out to the garden, she cuts stalks of young banana trunk, the soft tack-tack of the blade sounding as she chops them into pieces for the chickens and ducks, whose excited chirps fill the night. Hucky, her small shaggy brown dog, trots at her heels, tail wagging cheerily. Its tiny paws are caked with dirt. She bends down, petting its fur, smiling softly. "You're such a good dog, Hucky. Stay with me. I feel better when you're here." Hucky looks up at her, bright eyes shining in the moonlight, a damp nose nuzzling her hand. She feels a gentle sense of peace. "You don't ask questions. You're just here, that's enough." She goes back inside, settling at the wooden table under the flicker of the oil lamp. From a small wooden shelf she takes out an old book, Mastering the Art of Conversation. A gentle golden hue washes over the yellowed pages as she reads slowly, thinking, "I hope James's father eventually understands. He's angry because he's worried about his son, but I'm not a bad person. Maybe someday he'll see what's really in my heart." Her phone rings, and James's warm, low voice flows across the line. "Diep, it's me. How are you feeling? I'm down in the city for a shareholders meeting and can't drop by. I just wanted to make sure you're doing okay." Diep smiles softly, heart warming at the sound of him. "I'm all right. Don't worry about me. Just focus on your work. I already fed the chickens and ducks. Everything's fine. Let's meet again soon." James's affectionate laugh filters through. "Good. Take it easy and get some rest. Sleep well, Diep." She nods, voice quiet but bright. "Take care, James. Talk to you soon." Setting the phone aside, she watches the oil lamp's flame flicker, a gentle peace settling in. He still cares. Everything will be okay. I just have to stay strong. When the test results dispel all doubts and James regains his faith in Diep, can their love truly stand the test of time? In episode 49, James's father is forced to face the truth, and James will do everything he can to persuade his father to accept Diep. Stay tuned to discover whether they can overcome this final hurdle.
Cõi vẫn mang vẻ cô đơn như ngày xưa. Mình như muốn truyền trút sức mạnh cho Diep. "Chồng bạn đâu rồi? Sao lại làm một mình?" Diep hỏi. Cố chuyển hướng câu chuyện nhưng Hương tự dài ánh mắt buồn. "Chúng tôi vừa qua đời được 3 tháng." Diep sững sờ làm trào lên sự đồng cảm sâu sắc. "Tôi xin lỗi." Cô thì thầm, như nỗi đau của Hương đang hòa vào nỗi đau của chính mình. Hương mỉm cười buồn xua tay. "Không sao đâu, còn bạn thì sao?" Diep cúi đầu giọng nhỏ dần, "Tôi đã ly hôn rồi, giờ tôi ở tạm trang trại của một người bạn." Hương gật đầu, ánh mắt sáng lên. "Nhưng nghe đến từ bạn, nghe nói người đó là chủ tịch rất giàu đúng không?" Cô hỏi, giọng tò mò. Diep gật đầu, làm chợt nặng trĩu nghĩ đến Giang. "Là anh ấy rất tốt, nhưng tôi chỉ là người phụ nữ đã ly hôn. Tôi không xứng đáng với anh ấy nên đã từ chối tình cảm của anh ấy." Cô thú nhận, giọng run rẩy như sắp khóc. Hương nhìn Diep, đau lòng nhói trước sự tự ti của bạn mình. Cô ấy xứng đáng được yêu thương hơn bất kỳ ai. Sao cô ấy lại tự giao mình trong nỗi đau như vậy? Hương nghĩ, tay nắm chặt lấy tay Diep rồi. "Tôi đồng cảm với bạn." Nói rồi giọng điệu dịu dàng nhưng kiên định. "Giang là người tốt, anh ấy giàu có và quan tâm bạn. Tại sao bạn phải từ chối? Chúng ta đi sống một lần, hãy nghe theo trái tim mình. Đừng để lời bàn tán làm ảnh hưởng." Diep ngẩng lên, đôi mắt long lanh. Trong khi đó, tại một trang trại cách đất không xa, Giang đang bận rộn kiểm tra việc thu hoạch của củ rong cùng Bin, người bạn kinh doanh lâu năm. Anh đứng giữa cánh đồng, dáng người cao lớn, nổi bật với bộ vest giản dị, ánh mắt sắc bén quan sát từng động tác của công nhân. Những chiếc xe chở củ rong lăn qua đường phố đất đỏ, để lại những vết bánh sau hầm. Trong tiếng cười nói của công nhân vang vọng giữa không gian rộng, nhưng trong lòng Nhân là nỗi buồn âm ỉ không nguôi. Kể từ ngày Diep từ chối tình cảm của anh, cô ấy nghĩ mình không xứng đáng, nhưng với mình cô ấy là tất cả. Anh nghĩ tay vô thức siết chặt chiếc bút trong áo, như thời đó là cách duy nhất để giữ lại chút bình tĩnh giữa cơn sóng gió. Anh yêu Diep không phải vì thương hại mà vì sự mạnh mẽ lương thiện trong cô đã là làm ảnh hưởng đến trái tim anh, điều mà anh chưa từng tìm thấy ở bất kỳ ai khác, kể cả trong